Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here with another thoughts video. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, this might be a little bit longer one because I'm going to kind of break it down in what's in kind of sections and how it relates to a lot of one particular game that is absolutely one of my favorite games to play. But I have not played on the channel yet. So, story RPG game. If you know anything about the creators or the developers, a lot of them are very big fans of Final Fantasy games, and a lot of these concepts comes from Final Fantasy 8 and Final Fantasy 9, particularly the Picto system, which is like your abilities or your like extra perks, are a concept taken from Final Fantasy 9, modernized and made better. And I really like that. Final Fantasy 9 is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games, as opposed to that and Final Fantasy 8. And I like to see some of those concepts brought in and modernized in a way that is, in a way you can make a harder game. And that kind of goes into the story. Now, I will say, as you're progressing through the story, I would say you go through Act 1, you can do a little exploring, go through Act 2, do a little exploring. But once you hit into Act 3, I would say to finish the game, because one particular issue that I had, I don't think it's really an issue, it's just me not knowing. The game's designed for you to go through Act 2, finish Act 2, and go straight to Act 3, finish Act 3, and then start doing all the optional side content. I would say I probably spent about 25 hours, maybe 30 hours in the story, and about 20 to 25 hours on side stuff. There's a ton of side stuff to do in this, all over the place, and I found myself doing a lot of map clearing. We actually ended up doing everything we could in the game, besides 2 achievements, which I didn't really care about these 2 achievements, which was get to 99 level, which eventually we will at some place. If we end up playing a new game plus, we'll eventually get to that 99, so it's not a big deal. And then with one of the characters, Minoko, is do 3 of his or 4 of his abilities in his wheel continuously. Other than that, we kind of did everything. We fought all the optional bosses, we saw all the things, we did everything, and I had a blast. The story is written in a way that there are some twists and turns, and those twists and turns just kept me on my toes the entire time. Like, I made a lot of predictions, a lot of ideas, and I want to say in a good way, it flipped those ideas and predictions on its head. And I can't wait to see what the studio does more. I like also the combat system. Now, Final Fantasy now has kind of went to an action RPG combat system. It's not really turn-based. It's just an active battle system. This taking, and I know some games have done some of these concepts before with the battle system, where you're doing quick time events while attacking, and then you have parries and dodges, things like that. But this pulls it in a way that I've never played it. It probably exists out there in other games, but for me, this is my first experience having that, and I really enjoyed that. It really reinforced my love of how turn-based games are. On top of that, in the combat system, the game doesn't hold your hand in a way of saying you cannot go this far, and like the game scales with that. The idea with this is they want you to make insane builds, and you can make builds that absolutely break the game until you start going to New Game Plus, which there's actually, someone told me there's New Game Plus 7, so you can replay the game over and over. With that, yes, it's of course the same game, and you can level up some things more in your New Game Plus, obviously, but just knowing the game actually allows you to not only break it, but then it's not broken for New Game Plus with some of the abilities you can stack are really, really cool. Also, the music is top notch. I'll leave the soundtrack, at least the because Alicia, I believe, is the soundtrack for the. It is so good. All the music in this game is top notch. I've actually found myself listening to this while not playing the game. It's on Spotify, which OST is amazing with this. Also, another callback that I do like with this is you have some comedic relief, also some seriousness kind of mixed in there, and I do like how they did it, and it kind of reflects the idea of Final Fantasy VIII. Now, if you know anything about Final Fantasy VIII, Squall is the serious one, Zephyr's the serious one, but then you have some comedic relief with Zell and Quintus. You have a little bit of a seriousness, playfulness with Renoa, so it all ties in a way where you actually have a serious character doing everything like that, and you have that same thing woven into this. Gustav is your more of, you're trying to explore the world type deal. He doesn't know what to expect, so he's kind of like your Zell character in that. Squall kind of matches a Verso. He's an intense guy, and then of course you have your playfulness from Ciel, Lune, and then what tops this off, though, my favorite character out of everything in this was SK. Character, a lot of comedic relief, a lot of fun, and it just tops off the idea that you have some serious characters, some non-serious characters, and how it's woven into that is great, because the interaction between those two can dive both into some silliness but also dive into some seriousness as well. So good depth and range of not just the characters themselves, also the voice actors. I did in English, so I know I think naturally it is in French, I believe. I did everything in English and everything was superb with the voice acting. I'm trying not to spoil anything, so I would recommend you play this if you like any RPGs turn-based, and even if you're iffy like a little turn-based, I would say watch some gameplay. Maybe you'll actually like the combats. I mean, it's not just one where you just parry stuff and dodge. You had parry, you had dodge, all the moves are different with all the different enemies. You have some straightforward attacks, you have some delayed attacks, you have some combos you have to worry about, and then on top of that you start going to gradients and synergies with characters, and you start going into depth and how you can build, but also how you can play and how it weaves in the combat system. Really, really great. And every character has their own combat system to play for, own abilities for the weapons, and that allows you to actually do a lot more. Not one build is the same between all the characters. You may like some similarities between them, or one character synergizes with another character, which then the last character kind of combines all that into some big range and some big damage in the combat system. So it's great with that, where you have that range. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this thoughts video. I'm not any better at this, because I just did the precinct one right before this. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Remember, we're streaming at least during the week and here and there over on Twitch, YouTube, and on Rumble. So come hang out. Stream 4 or 5 hours a day, typically at night or during the day, and we have some fun. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.